Welcome back to the Investing for Beginners community. I'm your host, Johnny Insignius. In today's video, we're going to go over compound interest. And we're going to go over a few scenarios using this calculator I found online, which is on the calculatorsite.com. And you can plug in your own numbers after we're done. Now, what is compound interest, and why would you even care about learning about it? Well, compound interest is possible by compounding interest, or interest on interest. Is that accumulated interest is added back onto your principal sum, with the future interest calculation being made on both the original principal and the already accrued interest. So, for a quick example, for the stock market, you have $100. And at the end of the year, you make 8%, you'll have $108. Now, at the beginning of the next year, you will now have $108, the $8 being interest from the first year. You will now make 8% of that, which would be about, or 10% of the $8, which would be about 80 cents. So in the following year, you'd make 80 cents off of the $8, which was already interest from the $100. So again, here's a formula. And we're going to go ahead and plug in some numbers real quick, okay? Now, here's some benefits, just a real quick before we plug it in for an example. If you put $1,000 in and you never added to your principal again, at 10% for 20 years, you would have $3,000. Now, compound interest example. See this principal bottom line here? It says 1,000. If you put $1,000 in it and didn't have interest, didn't invest, didn't do anything, you would technically still have $1,000. Now, because of inflation, your money would actually be less valuable in 20 years. But you would still have technically $1,000. Now, the interest with no compounding, say you took out your dividend payments or your interest every month, you took it out, you would make about $3,000. Now look at compound interest. If you had compound interest example, you'd have bigger benefits and you'd be closer to $7,500 after 20 years if you simply reinvested your dividends or the interest that you made. Now, real quick before I lose you guys, okay? We're going to go over an example. Now, say you start your initial investments with $100. All you have is $100. You're going to take that $100 and you're going to stick it in the stock market for an annual return of, let's just say, 10%. Some years it might be 4 or 6%, maybe less. Some years it might be 20 or 30 or 40%, depending on what companies you invest in, right? So let's say 10% annually for a year, and we'll go 20 years, right? Let's go 10. Let's go 10 years. 20 years is a long time, guys. Let's go 10 years. Now, you're not going to deposit any additional amounts monthly. Okay, just your initial $100. And we're going to calculate. So, no additional deposits. You put $100 in now, and in 10 years, you were able to accumulate $170 in interest. Now, this is how this chart looks, right? You made $10.47 in interest the first year. So then that gets put into your new balance, $110.47, which now you're making another $1.10 because you have that $10. And as you see, it's growing over time. By year 10, you're making $25 in interest off of $100 you put in, which isn't a lot, right? Okay, so now that you know the basics, let's take that same $100. We're going to do an interest rate of 10. We're going to do 10 years again, okay? Because we're going off of 10 years. Look at the balance, $270. That's not much. Now, say you invested $100 every single month. At the beginning of the month, let's say on the 1st. That way it gives it time to appreciate. Now, you're going to start with 100. You're going to invest $100 every single month for 10 years. Now look at that. Your initial balance was 100. Your additional deposits over the year was 12,000, right? Because you put $100 a month every month for 10 years. Now your future investment value, look at that, $20,925. You earned $8,825 on interest. Okay, check this out. Your first year, you made $77 in interest. But your second year, it triples. You literally triple the amount of money that you're going to be getting back at the end of the year, from $77 to $211. Okay, now look at the next year, $359. So you tripled it the first year, not quite doubled it the second year for the third year. Looking at year 4, $522 in interest. Year 5, $702. By year 8, you will be making back the $100 a month that you are investing into the company in interest. Okay, let me say that again. The $100 that you invest every single month will actually come back to you in interest and dividends by year 8. You'll make $1,365 in interest for the year. Okay, that is $100 a month. So you're probably thinking, how is that even possible? I put $100 in every month, and by year 8, the business or the stock market or whatever it is that I am investing in that gives me 10%, by year 8, they will give me back the $100. So I will literally be putting $100 in, and they will be giving me $100 right back. Okay, isn't that amazing? So you're taking, by year 8, you're putting $100 in, and at the end of the month, you're taking $100 out. So what's to say that you can't just put that $100 back in again, right? And just keep going, keep reinvesting all that money. And that's basically what compound interest is, and that's what's happening here. So by simply just putting $100 in a month, by the end of 10 years, you'll have $20,925, and you'll be comfortably living off of $1,900 a year. But see, that's not going to work, right? And why stop there? Why stop there? Let's go 20 years. Okay, we doubled it. So now you're going to pay $24,000. We haven't done anything crazy, just the same $100 you put in every month. And you could automatically do this. You could have your banks put it in a savings account, and then you take it out and invest it. You could put it in a 401k, an IRA. You could put it in an ETF. You could put it in a security. You could put it in anything you want, as long as the main point is that you make 10% a year. Okay? So let's go over this. The same $100 every single month. By year 8, you'll be getting your $100 back. So now technically you could be putting in $200 a month, right? But we're just talking about compound interest. You're putting in $100 a month out of your pocket, but now all this interest gets put right back in, right back in, right back in. So by year 8, you could also look at it like this. I put $100 in out of my pocket, and my investments put $100 in from the interest they earned from my investments. So I'm technically putting $200 in at this moment. Okay? By year 20, you will have $77,000, and you'll be making $7,274 a year. Now that comes out to about $600 a month. Okay, so you can't necessarily live off of that. Now, this is the main point of the whole video, and I hope you guys are still watching, okay? Hope you're still watching. As you can see, $77,000 is a lot, but you can't really live off of $600, okay? So here's what we're going to do. With inflation and with everything going on, I strongly believe that we could hit a 12%, okay? I'm also going to take the original $100 I started with, but I'm going to increase it by 10% every year as well. So the first year, let's go ahead and calculate this. The first year I put $100, But then the second year, I start with 100. So the first year I put $1,200. The second year I increase it by 10%. So I'm getting 10% from investments, appreciation, and interest and dividends, but I'm also getting 10% because I'm putting 10% more than I normally would. So look at this example, right? From $77 to $93, and we're in the 265 mark, right? So it was like 261. So you actually make $40 more this second year than you would have, and $20 more the first year if you simply increase by 10%. Now, your future investment value would be $200,000, but you only invested $68,000. So now this is where the power of compound interest really comes into effect, right? How can you earn double the interest on the initial deposit? That's 100% profit, right? Well, one, it's because of 12% interest a year. But at the same time, all this money keeps getting put in. You're not using any of it, right? So you're just reinvesting all this interest. You're just reinvesting it. And then the interest is making you money off the interest. And then before you know it, you get to this point where $68,000 is actually making you more money than you put out. Think of it like this. Think of it as a reverse car loan, okay? Maybe you buy a $68,000 truck, but if you have a 12% APY, you're going to pay $131,000 probably by the end of, say, your 20 years. Now, I know car loans aren't 20 years. I think you can get them for 5. I think you can get them for 6 or 7 now years. But the point is, it's a reverse car loan. And this is something that we can all do to make money. Okay? $100 a month ain't bad. Later on, you're going to get around to the $2,400 mark by year 8, and you're going to have to put in $200 a month. But think about this, $100 now in 8 years with inflation isn't going to be worth much. So you're probably going to be making more money because minimum wage is going to go up. You're going to have more money to spend. Now, of course, inflation goes up, so everything else costs more, but you can put more into your investment account if you're smart about it, right? So then by year 13, you're putting $300 a month. Year 16, 17, you're going to put $400 a month. And then by year 20, you're going to be putting about $600 a month into this account. But now look at this. You're depositing $600 a month or $7,000 a year, but you're getting in return $22,000 back. You're getting 3 times the money back earned than what you're putting in. If you put in 10 grand, you're going to get $30,000 back. If you put in $7,000, you're going to get $22,000 back in interest. Okay? Now, $22,000 is not a lot. But look at this, guys. If you were to simply start with $200, say you could start with $200 today, and you slowly increase that investment, you'll have a $400,000 investment, and you'll make roughly $44,000 a year in interest. Now, at that point, at 20, okay, if you start doing this in your 30s, by the time you're in your 50s, you could literally walk away from your job. You could retire. Start this in your 20s. If you're watching this and you are in your 20s, by the time you're in your 40s, you can walk away and make $44,000 a year. Now, again, inflation and minimum wage going up, stuff like that, $44,000 in 20 years might only be like $20,000 now. And not many people can live off of $20,000 right now. Okay? So you have to invest even more. You have to, guys. What if you could do $400 a month? You're almost at $1 million. How do you get to $1 million, right? Everyone says you get to $1 million, you can retire and live the life of your dreams, right? Well, here we go. This is what it's going to take. You start at the $100. You deposit $500 a month at 12% annually. Now, again, it's not always going to be 12%, but this is an average over 20 years. Okay, it could be more, it could be less. I'm not only going to do $500, but I'm going to increase my deposit by 10% every year. Heck, do it every month, right? That'd be 100%. But let's just say every year. Okay, we're going to calculate it. You're only $5,000 shy of $1 million. Now look at this. Additional deposits. Now you put in $343,000 in 20 years. And the total interest you've earned is $651,000. So you've earned 100% on your investment. You start with 100. Year one, you put $6,000 in. You're already making $417 in interest. By year two, you're going to put $6,600, right? Because we're increasing it by 10% each year. Now you're going to make $1,271 by year two. By year two, you're already making back your initial deposit of $100. Okay. Now, this is where it gets interesting. By year five, you're putting in $8,000, but you're getting out $5,000. Okay, you're already at $50,000 in 5 years. You've saved $50,000 in 5 years by simply saving 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, right? 6, 12, 18, 24, 32, add 4, 36, right? Put $36,000 in, you got $50,000. It's pretty cool. Okay, by year 6, you're making $6,900. That's $500 a month. By year 10, you're making some good money. You're making like $12,000. You're making like $1,000 a month. Okay, $169,000. Stay on track to 20 years. 20 years, you'll be investing $36,000, which isn't bad. You know, maybe that's your job. Maybe you're now making, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a year now with inflation, and 20 years from now, who knows what happens, right? You're going to make $110,000 a year in interest. You could live off of that, guys. In 20 years from now, if you make a $50,000 salary now, in 20 years, you're probably going to have to make $100,000 for it to be about the same due to inflation. So you're going to have $5,000 shy of $1 million. $1 million. And you're going to be getting $110,000 every single year in interest for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. Now, that's pretty crazy. Say you just went one more year. One more year. Just one more year. 21. You can make an additional $18,000 a year, which is an extra, $1,200 in your pocket a month by simply waiting one more year. You'll be at $1,164,000, and you'll be able to pull out $130,000 a year. So guys, I don't know about you, but I'm going to get started today. Okay, I'm 32 years old this year, this summer. I will be 32. And by the time I am 52, you guys will see me become a millionaire. If I could do it faster, great. If you can do it faster, great. Put more money into it. Can you do $1,000 a month? Maybe you have a really good job, right? Then it would take you half the time. It'd take you like 10 years instead of 20. Oh, maybe not. Maybe like 15. Let's see. Okay, maybe 17 years. There you go. 17 years, you have 1.22 million. So you cut 3 years off by investing $500 more. Okay? It's simple, guys. It's really simple. It's simple to be a millionaire. 16 years. There you go. Shaved 4 years off. Shaved 4 years off from you having to do it. You only had to put in $431,000. You made $600,000 in interest. Boom. You're a millionaire. Everybody can be a millionaire if you simply save and invest in the correct place. Now, real estate, you could do it even faster. Okay, and we can go over some of those numbers later. But the simple compound interest calculator, I believe everyone should play with it. Everyone should get on and know their number. What's the number you're looking for? What's a number that's going to be comfortable living today? And then double that for 20 years from now. Double that number. Okay? And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching Investing for Beginners Community, and we'll see you in the next one.